Hello and welcome to your Holistic Hips program. I am very excited to share this with you, and I hope that you get a lot from it. Culturally, we're kind of messed up in the hips. We've got a lot going on there, a lot of repression and inhibition and lack of freedom and mobility there. And I think it makes for quite a stiff and unexpressive life, that lack of freedom in our hips. And the best advice I was ever given was by Peter Ralston in his book Zen Body Being, and he said to just get in touch with your hips. And that is, I was like, that's pretty vague, but that's kind of really what needs to happen. Is the hips do so much, they're so versatile, and there's so much going on there that it's like creating a program for the hips is quite challenging, because there's so much they can do and you want to be able to do all the things. So really, I think the foundation of all of this is just curiosity. Like, what's going on here? What's happening in the hips? And then from that foundation, we can explore various different things, which I've hopefully done a half decent job of putting together for you. But this is really, this video here is really just about orienting you to your spreadsheet and making sure that you understand everything that's going on here and that you get the most from it. So we're going to start off with your name. So please put your name in this box. This is Bamboo Legs' program, and he has some goals. So his goals are vibrant, elastic, liquid, springy hips. I mean, who wouldn't want that as a goal, right? Well, never mind Baron Bamboo Legs' goals. I want you to put your goals in here. I want you to put your name and your goals, because this is your program and I want you to make it your own. Yes, I've created the program, and yes, you're going to be following some directions that I've laid out for you, but I want it to evolve as you progress. I want you to evolve this program and for you to make it your own. And so every time you open this spreadsheet up, it's going to have your goal up here to remind you why you're here. So please have a little think about that. Why are you here? Take a little bit of time, think about that, and write something that represents that in the top in this box. Okay. Next we have this is the video you're watching right now is here. So if you ever need to review any of this stuff, you'll just be able to click on the link. It will be blue. Anything that's blue is a hyperlink. So you'll be able to click on this hyperlink and open up this video if you need a reminder about what all this stuff means. Next we have the warm-up. Warm-ups are important. This program here is not so much heavy load, especially at the beginning. So warm-ups they're good, but if you're pressed for time, there are 2 exercises at the beginning of each of these that is preparatory work. So you could just do an extra set of A1 and A2 from each day to make sure that you're warmed up for the rest of the exercises. But it's a good workout. If you're doing other stuff, if you're like mixing this with some other stuff that you've got in your program, please do a workout, whether you've got your own or you can use the one provided here. Next we have dynamic conditioning, which is just some movements that are everyday movements, like hinging at the hips and squatting down to the floor and lifting the legs up in the air. They're just really simple, basic movements to get you moving in ways that you move every day. So they're non-linear. That you know, just it's a bit more of a free form. You're just sort of moving around in the space and doing these different movements. You'll go through A1, A2, and A3, 30 to 45 seconds of each, and then you'll do a fourth set where you freestyle all three of those, mixing it up in your own sort of random way, because life happens like that. And you'll do 2 to 3 sets of those 3 to 4 times a week. And I want you to pepper this in. I've put this over here out of the way because I want you to pepper it in where you can. You could do it first thing in the morning or last thing at night. You could do it, a really good time to do it is after at the end of the session, especially days 2 and 4. But yeah, try to get it in at least 3 times a week. Then we have our cool down. Cool downs, I cannot emphasize enough how important cool downs are. Let me just lock that. Aha, there we go. Nope. For some reason, it just doesn't want to stay on 100%. I have no idea. Why am I fighting with you? Okay. Sorry about the changing of brightness. Cool downs, so important. So important. Please learn this cool down sequence. It is so important. It's long. It's a little bit longer than maybe you think you have time for. But once you learn it, you know it, and you can truncate it. You can cherry pick the bits that you think you need on that given day. But in the beginning, I suggest take your time with it. Schedule in an extra 20 minutes, 15 or 20 minutes at the end of your session to cool down. It's going to make such a big difference to your recovery and to your overall well-being. Transitioning from activity to something a bit more relaxed, like eating or relaxing with friends. If you're carrying all the energy of the last thing with you, it's not so great. It's not such a great thing. It's really good to let go, to learn to let go deep in the tissues of the body. So I encourage you, please do learn the cool down sequence. Take your time with it. You won't regret it. It will make such a difference to your recovery and your overall life and health. Okay, so on to the program itself. So we have 4 work days. Day 1 and day 3 are mobility days. Day 1 is focused on flexion and extension of the hips. Day 3 is internal rotation, external rotation, abduction and adduction. Days 2 and day 4 are more like a workout. And in those days, we're going to be training the body in 3 phases. In fact, in all the days, there's going to be some elements of these 3 phases. Those 3 phases are tensile. So tensile is just like you lift your arm up now, that's tensile. You're just lifting, you're contracting and relaxing muscles to move. So and a dumbbell curl is a tensile movement. A pull-up is a tensile movement. It's concentric, eccentric. But there's other ways that life happens, and accidents happen not in a very predictable and linear way. They happen when things are a little bit surprising. So we want to train in elasticity as well. So you'll notice there's certain ways of stimulating the muscles that are have more of an elastic feel to them. You'll especially find this in days 2 and 4. And then we also train stiff training. So stiff training, you could think about that like plank. A plank is a stiff, you're stabilizing yourself. And so there's various ways of planking different parts of the body, so to speak. And so we want to be training all 3 of these. That's going to help with stability and isolation of different body parts. And then here, this should be pretty self-explanatory, these first 2. Reps and sets. You're going to be doing 8 to 12 reps for 2 to 3 sets. It's different on each one, but we'll take this one as an example. And then we've got time. We've got 10 to 13 seconds hold. So at the end of our reps, we do a hold at end range. This is the stiff training that I just mentioned. And then we've got our goals. So our goals, they're going to look different all over the place. We've got, it's usually the upper end of the reps and time as a theme. So when you reach 12 reps and 30 seconds for 2 sets, then maybe it's time to add another set. You've reached your goal at 2 sets, so add another set, 3 sets. And then you reach your goal at 3 sets, well, it's time to either add some more load, increase change the amount of yoga blocks you're using. That's what YB means. It means yoga blocks. Change the amount of yoga blocks you're moving. Either add or remove a yoga block, depending which one increases or progresses the movement. And what else? So yes, you might be adding more load. This is where you would monitor this. This is where you would measure your progressions. So that might be weight. I've written progression here in this column because it is normally you'd write weight in here, but it's not only weight. We don't just progress with weight. So, and especially with this program, so we've got different ways of progressing or regressing the movement. What I've written in here is just some suggestions, and just to give you an idea of what let's plug this in, what it might look like. But you find where you're at with your weights, and you find out where you're at with your range of motion, whether you need 1 chair or 2 chairs to support you in some movements, whether you're on body weight or whether you want to add some weight to that, how many yoga blocks you need. Okay. So that's your progressions. Couple more things. Reps, we've got 4 to 6 reps and 15 to 30. What does that mean? Well, the first 4 to 6, that is full range of motion reps, plus 15 to 30 bounces. Remember we talked about elastic? Well, this is your elastic training, 15 to 30 bounces. And then we've got a 10 to 15 second hold. Okay, so 6 reps plus 30 reps, 30 bounces, and 15-second hold. That's when we've reached our goal. And then it's time maybe to up the weight, or maybe add another set, or change the exercise itself. which you might not be able to do with this program unless you can intuit what the next exercise might be. Otherwise, that's something that we would figure out with an individualized program. So what else? You'll notice in the goal column here, that sometimes there's an M and an F. That's for male and female. That's the male and female goal. Knee level. Once you reach 5 reps at knee level, 3 minutes non-stop. Hip height. And then you've got X amount of yoga blocks. So that should be, and then you've got time. Some of them are time. See, 10 seconds, that's time. So just pay attention to that. Sometimes the exercise is reps, sometimes it's actually time. So pay attention to what that is. Which brings me to this. So we have our actual week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. You'll see that they're split into 2 columns. Okay. On the left column, we're going to put in the amount of reps we did. So this is where we fill in our data. We did 8 reps on the first set, followed by 9, followed by 8, divided by commas. And then we did a 10-second hold, a 15-second hold, and a 10-second hold. Again, divided by commas. What is it with this light thing? Okay. and so I hope that makes sense, that you are filling in on the left hand side your reps, on the right hand side the amount of seconds you did for your hold, or the amount of time that you spent doing the thing. This is a 1 to 3 minute thing. Maybe you spent 60 seconds. You could write 60, 60, 60. Okay? Or you could write 1, 1, 1 for 1 minute, depending how you want to do that. On this one, because you've got 2 types of reps, you've got the reps and the bounces. I've just divided them with a slash and then a comma to divide between the different sets. I hope that makes sense. Let me just check my notes. Okay. The last thing I want to mention is the A1, A2, as you can see here, B1, B2, C. If you see A1, A2, if you see the same letter, that means it's a superset. So you would do 8 to 12 reps of this one, and then as short a break as possible, and then you get straight into this one. And then you would go back to here and do the second set, close to, right next to each other. Then you would take a break after you've done your 2 to 3 sets, and then you'd move on to this superset. Okay? And just be careful here, because one of these supersets has 3 exercises in it. So just pay attention to that. There's 3 exercises, that's one big superset, and then you've just got one here, which is its own set, which you just have breaks in between. I hope that makes sense. And that is pretty much it. You know, just be aware wherever you see blue is a hyperlink. And so you can just press, in my application, I need to press Control and then click, and that will open up the video. You might not need to do that in your application. Just check it out. Okay, I think that's it. I think that is your orientation video to the spreadsheet. I hope it all makes sense. I hope you get the most from this program, and I wish you vibrant, elastic, liquid, springy hips and whatever other goals you have. And I wish you a beautiful, beautiful day.